being said, I would like to call the names of those that were issued subpoenas and see if you are present in the room. If you are present in the room, when I call your name, please stand so that we can acknowledge that you're in the room. Mr. Cameron Wiley, are you present in the room? Thank you, sir, very much. We appreciate you taking time to be here. David Williams, Notary Public, are you in the room? Thank you, sir, for being here today. Crystal Hatfield, are you in the room?
Yes.
Okay, I see you behind the post. Thank you for being here today. Amanda Berry, are you in the room today? Actually, Amanda is not. We have a signed affidavit we will be presenting into consideration in just a minute. Stephanie Johnson, are you in the room today? Thank you for being here today. And then Lori Justice, are you in the room today? Thank you for being here today. All right, with that being said, the first people that we would like to call to the table would be David Williams and Crystal Hatfield, if you would. And when you come to the table, we are going to be placing everybody under oath. And so if you will, please come to the table. And when you get to the table, if you will, just push the button on the microphone in front of you there.
Yeah.
And before you take a seat, I'll put you under oath. If you will, just push the button in front of you there on that mic. It should turn green. And if you would please state your name and the official capacity that you're here as Notary Public, please. And David, let's start with you, please.
Hello, my name is David Williams. I'm a Notary Public.
All right. Thank you, Crystal.
My name is Crystal Hatfield, and I'm a Notary Public in Ballot County.
Okay, thank you very much for being here today. If you will, please raise your right hand, and I'll issue the oath to you, if you will, please. Do each of you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. If y'all would please take a seat. And I want to just personally give a shout out to you, Crystal. I understand you've had an accident, and it is extremely painful for you to be here, but thank you for responding and being here today. And just a few questions that we'd like to ask you. Both of you were asked, and if it's okay with y'all, I'll call you by your first name. Crystal, you were asked to notarize some forms that contain signatures of those that have been out gathering signatures for an initiative. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, would you mind just dropping that mic down a little bit closer, please? Thank you very much. What county did you notarize those signatures in?
Faulkner.
Faulkner County, okay. Did you have any that were presented to you that had redacted addresses on them at the time that they were presented to you?
No, I did not.
Okay. David, I'd like to ask you the same questions. What county did you notarize? Did you notarize petition forms that were presented to you for an initiative?
Yes, sir. In Saline County.
In Saline County, okay, thank you. And were you presented any of the forms that you notarized? Did they have redacted addresses on them at the time that you notarized them?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm supposed to look at addresses anyway.
Okay. Is that copies of the paperwork on the table down there? And maybe to keep Crystal from reaching over, unless you can, if you would, or David, reach over there. If y'all would grab a stack. Sorry, that's all right. And I think that stack should have copies of some forms that were notarized. C3. Look for the one that says C3 at the top. And actually, I'm not sure that we have any of the Faulkner County ones in there.
C1.
Yeah. This one. And Crystal, did you notarize any for Conway County?
No.
Okay.
Not for Conway, unless they were brought to me in Faulkner.
Okay.
I signed it at a couple of different addresses in Faulkner, and some people, I believe, were coming in from other counties to have me notarize those.
Okay. Actually, I'll let y'all flip through. They're not numbered, but Crystal, you did. It's number 25. The number is on the right-hand side of the page, and it's turned sideways. Number 25, Crystal.
Did you say C3, sir? I'm sorry.
I believe that's correct. Is that right? C3. Yes, ma'am. And David, if you look through, you'll find some that have your names on it.
Yes, sir. I see them.
Okay. So while she's looking for hers and you found yours, David, when you notarized, do you remember or do you recall those addresses being redacted in the bottom left-hand corner?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
Okay, so it would be your testimony that when you signed them, they were not redacted. Would that be your testimony?
No, sir.
What would be your testimony then?
They were fine. Like, as far as I was, like, looking at them, I'm not supposed to, like, observe the addresses. I'm supposed to observe the faces of the people and their names to make sure it's the same person. But no, sir, I did not look and see any differences in the addresses.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I see a sheet here that has the date of birth. Oh, never mind, that's your redaction. I'm sorry.
Yes, we redact the date of birth. That's our Bureau policy to protect that vital information. David, based on last committee's testimony, we're going to get somebody up here in a minute to verify all this. The two means of which you as a notary would sign is you would verify the address, and then secondly, you would also be able to give testimony that this is a person that you know that is of good standing, etc. So when you notarized these, you didn't compare the address on the bottom left-hand corner of the sheet against the driver's license that had the photo ID on it?
No, sir, and I looked in the handbook of the notary before coming here to verify. It's not required to look at the address. It's required to look at their picture and their name to verify it is them, basically verifying that the same person is who I'm notarizing. And I did look at that, and it does not say that I have to do that. But no, sir, I did not.
Okay. Were you given blank forms that were had no signatures on them and notarized them prior to any of the signatures of those that were gathered? Did you sign any blank forms?
Are you referring to like blank petitions without anything on it and then me signing it and then giving it back?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, very good. All right, so your testimony is that you did not look in the bottom left-hand corner of the forms that you were signing, and you cannot say with certainty that those addresses were redacted at the time that you saw them.
That is what I'm saying, yes, sir.
Okay, so you couldn't see the blackout marks in the bottom left-hand corner.
I didn't see any, no, sir, not that I'm aware of, but I also did quite a few notaries, so it kind of gets into a blur after that.
Okay, great. Crystal, on yours, did you find page 25 that has your notary on it for signatures that have Saline County listed on them?
Yes,
Okay.
I see that.
Okay, in the bottom left-hand corner of that, you'll see that addresses have been redacted. Do you recall at the time that you notarized these, were they redacted?
It was not.
It was not.
It was not.
Okay, so your testimony is that you signed sheet number 25 with Saline County residents, and that redaction in the bottom left-hand corner was not there at the time you signed it.
Correct.
So that would imply somebody changed that after you signed it, is that correct?
Yeah, I would have noticed a redaction or a correction anywhere. Usually I try to initial those
Okay.
when something like that happens, so.
Okay, that's great. Okay. So Dave, you didn't initial anything that you saw like she's testified?
No.
Okay. Do each of you keep logbooks?
Yes.
I do not.
It's not required by law,
It's not
strongly
required
encouraged,
by law.
not?
No, sir. I tend to try and avoid doing a lot of notaries because I don't like being in court.
Well, hopefully you feel like you're being treated today okay. Nobody likes to be in the position anybody in this room's in, but so we really do appreciate you responding and being here today. That's great citizenship. Chris, do you keep a logbook?
Yes.
In your logbook, do you record the addresses? What do you record in the logbook that you keep?
I record the address in which I perform the notary. Usually it's my office. I believe in this case there were 3 different locations.
3 different locations?
3 different locations, one being my office.
Okay, and the other 2 locations were?
Amity at Lynn's Glass.
Okay.
Lynn's Auto Glass, it's on Amity, I'm not quite sure the number. and also Home 2 Suites in Conway
Okay.
by the interstate.
Okay. Did you happen to notice, well, the addresses that you signed, do you have any recollection, were those in-state or out-of-state addresses that were on the forms that you signed at the time?
I believe some were both. I know, I can remember one, I know one was Arizona because I had just came back from Phoenix visiting my brother. So
Okay.
that one stuck, but I really didn't, you know, I made sure they were who they said they were, and that's what was written on the form. And there was a lot to notarize.
Okay. All right. And in your book, do you record the addresses? In your logbook, do you record the address of the person, or what did you say about that?
No, I record the address in which I do the notary.
Okay, where do you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, members, do you have any questions of either of these two folks? Okay, David? I'm sorry, Representative Ray.
My question's for Mr. Hatfield. It's similar to the question that Senator Hammer just asked. In our previous meeting, one of the notaries that responded that the signer, the address that was on the form was of someone that was out of state, the person that was getting the form notarized. Of the people who you checked IDs for, can you recall whether they were Arkansas driver's licenses or whether they were from a different state?
The majority of them were Arkansas. I'd say at least maybe one, possibly two were Arizona. I don't recall like all of them, obviously, because it's been a few months, but that's my recollection.
Okay, but some of them were from another state?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, and Chris, let me ask you, as you're notarizing, any conversation that would that you think would be important to share here today that you might have had with those that were asking you to verify their forms, to notarize their forms, as far as, hey, we're in town staying for a couple of weeks, we're going back home, when we're going back home, any of that kind of stuff that you would care to share?
No, it was very mechanical. Once we got started, I mean, there were hundreds of sheets to sign. So once we got started, they were on one side of the table filling out their information, and then it would come to me to do my notarization and stamping. And then on to the next. We really didn't converse that much during the whole thing.
Do you think you would have noticed, if that's the way that they were doing it, that somebody would have been redacting an address before they gave it to you?
I would have known if, I mean, I would have noticed a redacted address had it come to me right then as the notarization was taking place.
And you would have initialed it, is what you said a while ago?
Yes, because at some point after writing my name that many times, I think I even had to initial my own mistake because I spelled my name wrong.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. David, anything you want to share about any conversations, anything that you want to share with the committee?
Pretty much identical circumstances, so no, sir.
Okay, all right. We have no other questions from members, so I'm going to excuse you. And Chris, I know you're very uncomfortable. It's not the chair's intent to call you back. If you want to hang around, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. It's not my intent. But if something comes up later.
I'll try and stay for a bit.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's do this next. Thank you all for being here today. Anything y'all want to share? Just give you open mic. Anything you want to share? Okay, very good. And remember,